Hey, this is Glendon with Making Money with Storage Unit Auctions. The title of today's segment is Funky Stuff That Storage Facilities Do. Let me say that again. Funky stuff that storage facilities do. I've gotten a lot of emails and questions about this. Hey Glendon, went to an auction and they were selling the stuff by the piece. Typically, that's not cool for several reasons. If they're selling it by the piece, they've gone through it, they inventoried it, and they have in their mind a snapshot of what they should get for the unit. These people usually are the managers, and they're not business people. They're like, want to sell it to you on a retail basis. Most people who are buying auctions, they're buying to resell, so they can't buy it at retail price. Here in Georgia, this is the deal. They're not selling the contents of the unit. The law is they're evicting the contents of the unit to reclaim the space. So until the items are sold in the auction, going once, going twice, sold, those possessions are still the legal possessions of the delinquent tenant. Now, what does that mean to you and how is that important? It means a lot and it's very important. One, if that tenant comes when the auction's over, you said you bought it, you put your lock on it. If they come on the property and they beat you before you get to the office and get a receipt, guess what? Null and void. But also, if the manager has taken stuff out, and this has happened, people have gotten fired, people have gotten sued, people have gone to jail over this crap. Because the tenants come in, they got their money, they go up, and it's like, where's my big screen television? Where's my refrigerator? Where's this? Where's that? Where's this? And legally, they can't be touching this stuff. They're not supposed to in the state of Georgia. So if you're getting into business, this is what you do. You contact your legislative body. Say, where would I find the laws about auctions of storage units? Because even if they don't follow those laws, they're still governed by those laws. It's a case of, someone speeding. Until the cop gets you with the radar, you weren't speeding, even though you're speeding every day. Until you get that ticket, nothing happens to you. This is the same thing with these storage facilities. I got an email. Apparently they announced after the auction, the manager was going to go into the unit with you and pick and choose what valuables they wanted to keep after you bought the stuff based on everything you saw. I personally would go in and say, oh, okay. And I would videotape this process. Then I would take my ass straight to a lawyer because that's illegal. And I would own that company. You can't do that. Most laws, state by state, there's some variance. There's some places where the law just swings all the way to the right. But most are going to be very close for a reason. It's called precedence. That's a fancy legal word for history. If it worked in the past and it mitigated a lot of problems, guess what? They're going to stick with it. So I'm guaranteeing you, I don't know, you got to do your own research, but I guarantee you a bunch of these laws are pretty similar. So if they're pulling stuff out, don't be pissed. Bring your little camera out. Get proof. Because you can't sue anybody without proof. You can say, oh yeah, they did. You need proof. Doesn't matter what you think. Doesn't matter how much stuff they've done. It doesn't matter how many times they've gotten away with it. You need proof. You get proof, all of a sudden, the owner of that company is going to become very, very agreeable. Extremely agreeable. Why? Because you can sue his ass. And it's a different thing. One, they broke a law. Two, there's damages. They're taking stuff away from you. You can't sell it. You've lost money. So it's a very interesting lawsuit. But if you go to one of these storage facilities and they're starting this stuff, now here's some things they can't take out. The company could take the option. We don't want to mess with cars. They're like, we're not selling that car. We don't know if it's a lien on it. We don't want to be bothered with it. They call up a towing company, get off the property. They see guns. They can pull out guns. We're not selling guns. Or something really dangerous or acid or something like that. But there's a very, very small amount of things that they can pull. So if you go to an auction and you see this crap, do not get mad. Do not start pissing and moaning. Take notes. Take names, have your little camera, and get proof. And you can get paid, or if you don't get paid, you could create leverage going forward in the future. You got proof that they were doing something shady. And see, this is the thing. A lot of people I'll tell you, I had a customer. And she's like, I'm going to do all this stuff to you. I'm going to do all this stuff. And I knew I was straight. And she's like, I'm going to sue you. I'm going to sue you. and she did a chargeback. She bought a bedroom set. It's delivered. Was not happy. She's like, oh no, I'm not paying for it. Did a chargeback. Chargeback ended my relationship with her and the credit card company. She still had my furniture. I googled her locale. I found the municipal court. It was only 3 hours away. I drove my little stubbly chocolate fingered ass up there, filed a lawsuit. You know, she got the notice. Ha 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 ha. She didn't show up in court. Let me tell you what happens when you don't show up in court. It's called a default judgment. Hard to overturn because the court's view is you were too incompetent to come to court. We're not going to listen to you anymore. Default judgment. Took that default judgment to her local courthouse. It was a little small town. Put a lien on her property, which was paid off. This is where it gets interesting. The bedroom set was $2,500. My judgment was for $8,000. Did I get $8,000 real quick? No. Once she found out she tried to sell the house, she pissed and moaned. This dragged on for months and months and months. She's like, all right, I'll give you $2,500. No, you won't. You're going to give me $8,000. And she kept going, she kept going, kept going. And the house was worth $250,000. It was paid for. It was left to her. I got my $8,000 because that was the only way they could sell that house. Because no one's going to enter into a legal contract with property where there's a lien on the property. They're not doing it. They have to pay the lien first to make sure the transaction goes through. So I'm just telling you, I've been to court a few times and I've won. So don't get mad. Don't start bitching and moaning and no. Capitalize. Exploit the opportunity. Because if they're doing shady stuff, you can make money.